Today's video is going to be all about the newest release from Tom Ford, which is called Vanilla Sex. So if you want to hear my thoughts on this one, then please keep on watching. Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if it's the first time you are joining. My name is Hayley and I review fragrances. Happy New Year! This is my first video of 2024. I have unfortunately been unwell. I am still unwell, but I don't want to talk about it. I thought, why not jump on and film a video, because I am spending 90% of my day in bed or watching TV, which is not very productive. So I just wanted to do something that I feel passionate about. So with that being said, I decided to blind purchase the newest release from Tom Ford, which is called Vanilla Sex. Now, I have been quite hyped up about this fragrance over the last few months. I've seen it being teased, and if you watch my channel, you will know that I typically love vanilla fragrances. So of course I had to try this one. However, I typically do not blind buy fragrances anymore, but I couldn't help myself. I can't go and test it in person. I can't really leave the house and do anything at the moment. So that meant that, of course, I ended up blind purchasing this one. And wow, it hurt. This is an expensive fragrance. In the UK, this costs £290 for 50 ml. What was I thinking? But I had to order it. So let's get into the review and what I think about the new Vanilla Sex from Tom Ford. Now, this is the outer packaging that it comes in, and I have a little bit of a story with my bottle. I apologize in advance because the bottle doesn't look too pretty, but here is the bottle inside. Now, unfortunately, my bottle came damaged. Oh, I can see the juice leaking down it already, which is not a good start. I'm going to wipe that off in a minute. But unfortunately, I received a faulty bottle. I did contact Selfridges straight away, and I am sending this one back tomorrow. But I thought, whilst I have the bottle, I will review it for you. I did a full-day wear test yesterday, and I'm wearing it again today. And I'll just explain. So it leaked, which you can probably see maybe is leaking down on the label at the moment, and the liquid got stuck in between the plastic and the cap, and it looks brown. And some people thought this was moldy when I posted it on my Instagram yesterday. It's not moldy, but unfortunately the liquid inside has leaked out and got stuck in between the cap, and the vanilla has obviously turned brown. So it's not moldy, it's just the fragrance itself. But Selfridges have been really good. In the UK, we can't just return fragrances like you can in the US, but because this is faulty, I can return it. Wow, I have been talking far too much. So let's move on from my faulty bottle and talk about what the fragrance smells like. So I'm going to read you the notes first. So the top notes are bitter almond, then the middle notes are vanilla and floral notes. Base notes are vanilla absolute, ultra vanille, tonka bean and sandalwood. This is according to Fragrantica. And ultra vanille is not a note that I've come across before. So it must be some type of fantasy note or a note specific for this fragrance. I don't know any details. If you do, please do pop it down in the comments below. I haven't researched it as of yet, but basically this has 3 different types of vanilla in here. It also has that almond note, and the tonka bean really drew me in too. I love almond, I love vanilla, and I love tonka bean. So this is why I felt like it could be a pretty safe blind buy. Now, hear me when I say this. Please, please, please try not to blind buy this fragrance. It's very expensive, and you might be disappointed because it is not your typical vanilla fragrance in my opinion, and it doesn't smell quite as I expected it to smell personally. Now let's get on to the review. So I am wearing it today, but I am going to do a fresh spray just so I can get the top notes again for you. And this is going back tomorrow, so why not spray it a little bit more? So the first spray is probably going to be the same reaction as I had yesterday. I get lots of almonds, and it's more of a marzipan almond, kind of dry, definitely bitter, not quite toasted, but I do get a marzipan vibe from it, maybe like a Play-Doh type of vibe too. But I am not mad about that because I absolutely love marzipan. I love almonds. I even like that Play-Doh style scent. So the opening, I'm not disappointed at. And I'm not getting much vanilla in the opening personally. I get a hint, but not a lot at all. And the marzipan almond vibe kind of starts to dissipate for me a little bit quite quickly. And then the vanilla starts to come through. However, it is a really soft vanilla. I would call it a quiet vanilla personally. It's not super sweet to my nose. It's quite dry and it is quite natural too. And at this stage, I'm still a little bit confused. I don't know why. I mean, you could interpret the name in different ways. So vanilla sex, a lot of people saying this is going to be a boring fragrance. Vanilla sex is boring, all of that kind of stuff. Or you could interpret it as this is going to be a kind of alluring, attractive vanilla. And I'll get onto what I think in a minute. So I decided to douse both of my arms in this yesterday. And I mean, I did a lot of sprays. I am an undersprayer, but I went pretty heavy on this one just because I could tell it was going to be a light fragrance from the initial spray. I start to get a little bit more vanilla. It warms up on my skin, and this is definitely a fragrance that has to be worn on the skin to get the full effect. It's just not going to smell the same on paper, so you can't dismiss it on paper. Please do try it on your skin. And I start to get this really nice musky feel from it. It's definitely, I'm starting to get the musk already on my hand, and bear in mind I've only sprayed it about, I don't know, a couple of minutes ago. And it's this musky, almost sensual vanilla. And that is true to what the dry down is as well. I still get the almond, but it's not as intense in the dry down. I'm getting more of a sensual vanilla musk. I must say I don't get much of the tonka bean and I don't really get the floral notes, but I do pick up a hint of spice. It might be just how this is reacting on my individual skin chemistry. But this kind of leans into a vanilla musk with a slightly spicy touch. Now, a fragrance initially came to my mind when this started to dry down, and it was reminding me a little bit of Inicio's Absolute Aphrodisiac. Now, they are not the same fragrance at all, don't get me wrong, but this almost smells like a watered down version, so a very watery Absolute Aphrodisiac with a hint of almond. And that left me a little bit confused because I was like, do I want a watery version of that fragrance? I also reviewed this over on Instagram and someone in the comments said that it reminded them of Inicio's Psychedelic Love. And I was like, yes, light bulb moment. It also does remind me of that, but again, a very watery version. People are saying it's a little bit similar to Dior's Hypnotic Poison, and I kind of get the reference a little bit, but to me, they're not quite the same at all. It has that same Play-Doh-y vibe, but again, this is quite light, airy, and transparent in comparison. So, I don't know, I was left a little bit confused because for £290, I was expecting something a lot more than a watery vanilla musk, a transparent vanilla almond musk, if you will. I like it, I do like it, but I don't love it for the price point. So in a way, I'm kind of a little bit grateful that I received a 40 bottle because at least I can return it. As I mentioned, we can't return fragrances here in the UK, so that would have been a very expensive fail for me. But I do like it. It's not a bad fragrance. I just feel like it might be a little bit redundant in my collection, but it is nice. So let's get on to the longevity. I'm sure many of you are wondering. Now on me, it has medium longevity, but it is definitely a skin scent. However, it has a really nice sillage. So when I was walking around the house, I was definitely picking up the scent and it was smelling really nice in the air. So this could be one that is a little bit quiet, but does leave a nice scent trail. Haven't worn this outside, so I can't really give you any feedback on if other people can smell me, all of that stuff. But please do bear in mind that I did a lot of sprays yesterday, so you kind of would hope you would get a little bit of a scent trail. Now, like I said, it was medium longevity. I got about 6 to maybe 7 to 8 hours, but by 7 to 8 hours, it was really very much a skin scent where I would have to get really close to it to be able to smell it. And it was still, to me, smelling like a very light, airy, transparent vanilla musk. I don't know where the musk is coming for me, but I'm definitely getting a sensual musk. Now, you have to bear in mind that this is just my experience with this fragrance. I think we're all going to perceive this one quite differently. It definitely sparked some conversation over on my Instagram. There were a lot of people that were disappointed in it, but there were also people that loved it. Now, one thing I forgot to mention is a lot of people are saying this smells like Italica by Xerjoff, and not for me at all, actually. Very small similarities to my nose at the very least. Italica is very, very powerful. It's very gourmand. You've got the saffron in there too. So definitely one to sample. Please do spray yourself. So if you're in a department store, kind of spray all over your hand or all over your arm and really get the true feel of this. But I feel like the price point is just astronomical. I mean, we know that already about Tom Ford. Now, a lot of us will obviously see different value in different things. And I have to be honest, I purchase overpriced fragrances all the time. But this one, I truly do believe is overpriced. I'm sure many of you will agree with me there. It is nice. I would be reluctant to ever repurchase this unless I got a really big discount. So it is going back to the store because it's faulty. I will not be repurchasing it at this moment, but I do have a decant of it. So I will continue to test it. And I do feel like you truly need to wear a fragrance more than once to really experience it and see if you love it. Things can grow on you. But as an initial impression, I'm disappointed. And this is the reason I wanted to film this video today, because I just wanted to share my thoughts with you on it. I wanted to have a conversation with you. I wanted to see what you think about this new release. Let's just have a conversation. There's no right or wrong. Fragrance is so subjective. If you love it, great. If you don't love it, that's okay. But yeah, this was my review of the new release from Tom Ford called Vanilla Sex. Of course, I've mentioned that so many times. But thank you so much for joining me today. It's been a pleasure as always. I hope to see you in a future video to come. Thank you so much and goodbye.